Hello, everybody. Que paso? All right, bear me just a second. I got to get my cable. My charger fell underneath my thing. Hold on just a second. Oh, yeah. All right. Oh boy. Oh, yeah. All right. All right. Hey, can I get it? Yeah, look at that. All right, cool. There we go. All right. All right. Come there, you're going, bud. Extend. Okay. There you go. All right. All righty. Whew. Sorry, I haven't done a live stream for a couple of weeks. We're, in the middle of football, and believe it or not, my youngest loves football, and it's my duty as a pops to enjoy spending time with him and watching football. And so we've been watching the Rams, rooting for the Rams, I was rooting for I can't stand the Chiefs, rooting for the Bengals. I was rooting for the Bills. You want to go out? You gotta make up your mind, your pants. So we had a lot of fun. We tried watching the Pro Bowl today. That was horrible. And we watched about 5 minutes and it said no more. And so it's all good. So I am on Rumble, Jeremy. I am on Rumble. All right, hold on a second. Get ready to live stream on Rumble. All right, good. I do have a comment. There you go. All right, so Jeremy's on there. All right, sweet. All right, so we are on Rumble as well. And you have a comment. There you go. All right, so Jeremy's on there. All right, sweet. All right, so there we go. All right, cool. So reply, reply, ma. All right. Cool. All right, sweet. So we're on Rumble. And we're on YouTube as well. All right, Bruce is on the house. All right. All right, so just basically, I got stuff to talk about, but we can we could go over questions, and then if we get to any kind of stuff, whatever, we'll just go over some questions and just go from there, man. That's the way I kind of anticipated doing tonight. There we go. And if anyone, again, sometimes I get behind on the questions. So if you want your questions, put to the front, you got to pay. So on YouTube, it's just a super chat, and I don't care. You put some money in there, and I'll make sure it gets to the front. Just FYI. But just go through them. All right. So my man Maynard and Tejas, he's got. Does anyone who I list as primary beneficiary are granted a step up? I don't get what this question here is. Does anyone who I list as a primary beneficiary are granted a step up and does not have to pay any taxes? Does this include the grandchildren as well? All right. So whoever inherits the money, there's a step up basis. That's correct. So they don't have to pay any taxes if it's a non-IRA account, non-401k, non-annuity. So if it's a brokerage account, they don't have to pay the tax. How it works for a child that's under the age of 18, obviously they're going to have a guardian who manages that money for them. But yeah, that's a nice thing. There is something called generation skipping tax. For $200,000 is not going to be an issue. It's not. So just remember, my friends, at the end of the day, generation skipping tax, it's called GSTT, the generation skipping transfer tax. In this, look, I don't think Maynard in Texas's net worth is above, I can't remember what it is, 10 million today, 5 million, I can't remember. To be subject to an estate tax, maybe it is. I highly suspect it's not. So there's no estate tax here. And he's living in Texas. There's no state estate tax either. So the only thing I have to be worried about income tax, and in this case, is there is a step up in basis, 100%. So in theory, there could be a generation skipping tax, but I don't think that's going to be the case here. But yeah, so you name your grandkids beneficiaries. Obviously, They inherit it. They get the step up in basis, just like everybody else. Hope that helps. All right. So Jill, non-spousal Roth inheritors don't pay any taxes. However, new law makes them. Okay, wait. I hadn't heard this. So Jill is saying, if you're non-spouse beneficiary of a Roth IRA, there's a new law they have to withdraw the funds within 5 years. I hadn't heard that. We knew about the 10-year rule. I hadn't heard the 5-year rule, so I'm not sure. I haven't seen that, Jill. So I'd like to see the what law that is, because I hadn't heard anything about that, frankly. So let's find that out, please, because I'm not saying that's not true. I just haven't heard that. Roth is tax-free even for beneficiary. Let's go. Oh, look at that puppy. Watch out. Fauci wants to operate on that puppy. Fauci wants to operate on your puppy. Watch out. Hey, Mark, que paso. The main cabin, 14 and cozy, in front of the wood stove. Oh, man. That's what I'm talking about. I was trying to get back up there and interview a guy who runs a farm up that way, but he just had a baby, so I'm not going to be able to do that. But, that's cool. I got Kenny. Kevin is in the house. How should I invest in HSA? You got, I don't know your circumstance, but to be honest with you, HSA is the best thing since sliced bread. You want that puppy to grow as much as you want, man. It's tax-free. I'd invest as aggressively as I could. I don't know what's this guy's name? Michael. I have no clue what Michael's circumstances are, so do not take this as investment advice. I would say don't touch your HSA. Invest that puppy as aggressive as you can. Hopefully you wake up 10, 15 years from now, there's thousands upon thousands of dollars tax-free. That's what I would do. You can't see me. All right. Gotta open your eyes, Thomas. You gotta open your eyes. All right. Q. All right. So don't forget, we're on Rumble too, my friends. Just FYI. So Maureen says she just retired at a Vanguard 2020 fund. Should I move it now in this market? Move it to what exactly? Brian says, hey, Josh, what up? Bill says, who day? Did they say who day about the Bengals, or is that who dat? What? Oh, because Joe Burrow. Got it. Joe Burrow from LSU, but isn't he from Ohio originally? How do you get one of my T-shirts? What T-shirts? You can go on the Heritage Wealth Planning T-shirts. They should be available on the Teespring. It should be. I haven't looked at that for a long time. I'm making one. I got to just do it, man. It's gonna have a picture of Pablo, and it's gonna say "Retire or Die." And it's gonna have a picture of Pablo, and it might say something like Pablo says "Retire or Die." I don't know. I just thought it'd be cute because everyone knows Pablo. Hey, Mary, what's going on with real estate, Mary? You guys kicking butt, and taking names? All right. When does an annuity make sense? Every situation is different. But if you look at my man Harry in Oklahoma, he did an annuity and he loves it. A single premium annuity, just as an income annuity, as opposed to a deferred annuity. He did an immediate annuity, and he's happy as a clam. So a foot of snow in Ohio. That's nothing, dude. Noonan, Georgia checking in. Ohio, foot of snow in Ohio. Wow. Wah. I can't believe a foot of snow. As I say, check this out. Here's what it's going to be down my neck of the woods. Look at that. 50, 49, 55, 58, 59, 51, 60. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. That is what I'm talking about. But here's where I'm from. Well, it's not going to be so bad. 25, 39. Well, it's not that bad, man. Why the dislike of the Chiefs? Because I don't have any qualm with Patrick Mahomes, but everyone just look, man. At the end of the day, it's just like he hasn't done Tom Brady stuff. I mean, might, but can we keep him away from saying he's next Tom Brady until he actually does something? He's got one Super Bowl. Wow, he's been to two. Wow, I mean, he's had 4 straight AFC championships, but he's only won 2 of them. You know what I'm saying? So, can we just stop this? They always want to. They just always want to anoint people before their time, if that makes sense. And I just it drives me up the wall. I'm like, oh, can we stop this? Look, Patrick Mahomes is freaking fantastic. He's definitely a Hall of Famer without question. But let's just not anoint him until he's got a couple more rings on his fingers. I mean, my goodness, man. And everyone just says Patrick, like, I'll never forget who was that. It was Lamar Jackson against the Ravens were way down. I want to say against the Colts or something like that, and they came back and won in overtime. And who I like Lamar Jackson, by the way. We had like this jump pass, and I'll never forget Chris Collinsworth said only Lamar Jackson could do that. And I was like, but they say that until they don't do as well. The sports is the commentators. I'm just like, they always say, oh, no one could do that. I was just like, what? And, the problem with Lamar Jackson is like any running quarterback is they get hurt quickly. That's what made Randall Cunningham's career so amazing, is that he lasted, but no one does. Lamar Jackson, RG3, none of them do, man. And as such, is like when they say only, Patrick Mahomes could do this, like, I hate when the sports commentators, they kiss the guy's butt when he's doing well. And the minute they don't do well, it's like they never existed. They're crazy. I mean, don't forget, Patrick Mahomes, I hate to say it, but the Chiefs, they probably would have won the Super Bowl if they didn't have that last play in the first half against the Bungles. You know what I'm saying? I mean, what the hell was that? Anyway. But I don't hate the Chiefs or anything. I like the fact they kept the Chiefs name. They still do Tomahawk Chop. They're not the Washington Commanders or the Cleveland Guardians, for heaven's sake. All right, so my man says, what time of year is best to do an IRA rollover to a Roth? So let's make sure we're using the right terminology. And this might sound a little bit semantics. It's not. So remember, a rollover is with a Roth, you're moving money from an IRA, a traditional IRA, to a Roth. That's called a conversion. We're converting money. It's got to be clear, because if you're not using the right languaging, it could be confusing. And if it's confusing when it comes to your money, that's not a good thing. It seems dark in here. All right. Weird. But anyways, use the right terminology first and foremost. And again, if you're moving money from an IRA to a Roth, that's called a Roth conversion. You're converting money. You're not rolling it over. A rollover, frankly, is moving it from an employer-sponsored plan. You're rolling it over into an IRA, a traditional IRA. That's a rollover. So we want to use the right terminology, or else people get confused. And when it comes to your money, being confused is bad. The best time of year to do a Roth, a conversion, whenever you're ready to go, man. I mean, I always say, I tell everybody, people say, should I do it now? Wait. I said, man, if you think the market is going to crash, then wait. But if you think the market is not going to crash, you might as well do it now, because that's more tax-free days for it to grow. I mean, I'd rather have my money growing tax-free for 364 days as opposed to 100 and whatever the half that is, 180. So 364 tax-free days is better than 180 tax-free days, as opposed to waiting for half the year, if that makes sense. But again, you do it and the markets crash, you're pissed off. What are you going to do? That's market timing. But at some point, you just have to bite the bullet. Not a big fan of stock car racing. And I tell you though, when I was in the Army, there's a little car race thing up in Watertown, New York, someplace up there. And I never thought I'd like it, man. We just get drunk as skunks and just watch the cars. It was freaking a blast. We used to do this thing called mud bogging. Any of y'all ever heard of mud bog? They have these guys in their freaking Wranglers and stuff and their Broncos, and just freaking just get drunk as a skunk with the monks and just going through this mud. Oh man, who would have thought this would be a blast? Freaking redneck living, man. It's great. A good friend of mine who was in the Army he lived in down by St. Augustine, Florida. I went to visit him once, and we go out there and just shine deer. All you're doing is you're taking a big spotlight, you're driving around in Redneckville, Florida, in the freaking woods. I don't even think they call them woods down there. You're just getting drunk as a skunk with the monks, and you're shining the lights on these deer, and they just stare at you. I tell you, it doesn't seem like it's fun, but it's a blast. Yeah, crazy. That shows you how, with me, your old buddy Josh, there's always something that went hand in hand with old Josh. Oh yeah, it was drinking. Should I sell company stock to pay off my house? I don't, dude. There's way too much going on in that question for me to give an answer on that. All right, here we go. Instead of Roth converting. All right. He says instead of converting 20,000 to a Roth, would be better to convert 6,000 and take the other 14,000 as a distribution, and they make Roth conversions. Why? Why do it? Just convert it, man. Jeez. Why do all that? Why don't make stuff hard? Just do it. Convert it. I don't get it, man. As far as minors and Roth, I wouldn't necessarily give it a little at a time unless they need it plus as much. Oh, all right. So my man Brent says, what do I think of using living trust to assign as a beneficiary of a Roth IRA? I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. Now, look, there's always instances where a living trust is important. If you got the rule of thumb, look, I'm not an attorney. I just keep this in mind. So just FYI. For my rule of thumb for living trust, you have a kid or a person that is going to be your beneficiary who cannot take care of himself. Either he's hooked to crack, either he's got special needs, or he's just not mature enough. Or maybe you got a daughter who's married to a freaking beast and you don't want the beast getting your money. There's all kinds of things where a living trust could come in. If it's just you and you and your wife got 2 kids and they're freaking doing great, just leave them the money, man. I mean, setting up an IRA, setting up a trust as a beneficiary of the IRA, the complexity that is involved in all this stuff is nuts. You're still RMD rules, all right? And you still have to make sure the money comes out. And by the way, a non-spouse beneficiary, guess what? How long the money's got to go out? In 10 years. The trust doesn't solve that. I mean, just because of trust. And don't forget, a revocable trust becomes irrevocable upon the death of the grantor. The grantor typically is a trustee, you, my man Brent. So you have this trust set up from, freaking 15 years ago when you had a kid who was a minor, when you had Uncle Bob as your trustee. Now Uncle Bob's freaking knee deep in crack cocaine and your kid's 26 years old, but you told your trustee, your successor trustee, Uncle Bob, not to give the money to your kid until he's 35 years old. Because you follow some rules that give it, 33% at 35, 33% at 45, 33% at 55. Uncle Bob doesn't know his butt from a hole in the ground, and he's going to be the one managing the trust. And your kid's 26. He needs the damn money now because he's getting married. He's got twins coming along, but he can't get access to it because you said specifically in your trust document, don't give it to him until he's 35, 45, and 55. I mean, why do all that stuff? And by the way, and if your IRA, if the money's in an IRA, it's got to come out in 10 years anyway, according to the new rules. So it's kind of like, why bother? Now, at the end of the day, if you want to make sure the kid doesn't get it for the first 9 years because you don't want him freaking selling crack on the street, then yeah, a trust would make sense. But generally speaking, if you're trying to protect your child for someone or whoever the beneficiaries, a trust would make sense. Keep that in mind. Most people don't like that, are not like that. Most people don't. If you have multiple jurisdictions, we got real estate, you got a home and house in Maine, you got a house in Georgia, you got a house in Aspen, you're pounding around with freaking Bill Gates and you're trying to get everybody jabbed and you want to really go to Africa. So you got a house in Africa because you want everyone jabbed down there for some ungodly reason. It's not because you're beneficiary of mankind. That's for damn sure. We all know why Bill Gates is up to. A trust would make sense because that's going to be a pain to probate all those assets, those real estate properties. But I think they get overblown. I really do. Man, a lot of people are upset about me and my Chiefs thing. All right. So remember, you can't put a Roth into a living trust anyway. Just let's keep that in mind. And I mean, you can't put any IRA into a trust. Just keep that in mind. An IRA is an individual retirement account. Individual. A trust is not an individual. A trust is a non-living entity. So an IRA, the only way an IRA can be involved in a trust is 2 things. It's you name it as a beneficiary, all right, or a trust can be involved in an IRA. It's named as a beneficiary, or you have what's called a trusteed IRA, which it's a fancy word for basically you're naming a co-trustee to your IRA while you're alive, as opposed to a successor trustee. I don't want to get too complex on this here, but generally speaking, who came up with it? I think it's Key Bank in like the mid 2000s, and then USA and some other firms have taken the trusteed IRA. And the only reason they do that is because the asset management companies, instead of waiting to charge you a fee for when you die and they become the successor trustee, they can be the successor, or they can be the co-trustee while you're alive and charge you asset management fees. Very, I'm reading my book, the book about the who's I talking to somebody today. I can't remember. I can't remember, but I was reading. I forgot who it was. Or yesterday, but talking about the industry. Oh, he was in a certain industry. He said, yeah, it's just sad how bad it's gone. I said, man, my industry is just as bad, dude. You know what I'm saying? It's all people looking out to see how much they can get. It's sad. Not all people, but certainly a lot of them. And so no different than the industry that, you know what I'm saying, wants to do that to you, and they're looking how to expand that product. My industry is how can they expand, revenue? And the way they do is by saying, hey, we're going to name ourselves as a co-trustee under this auspice called the trusteed IRA. So that means you pay us trust fees while you manage the account, but that way we can step in there in case you're incapacitated or you die without any paperwork. Like, well, there wouldn't be really any paperwork anyway, because I have a durable power of attorney. I have my trust document that says, Key Bank is a successor trustee. It's not that big of a deal, but hey, if they can get an extra 5-10 years of 1.5% fee, because the trust services always charge you a higher fee than just basic money management, because they're offering these elaborate trust plans. You're like, well, what exactly are you doing? Is that can your trust place manage real estate? No, we don't do that. Can you manage oil and gas rights? No, we can't do that. Oh, okay. Can you manage rentals? No, can't do that. So what the hell do you do? Well, we're a money manager. Gotcha. So you're a money manager. You're just looking for ways to increase your revenue. That's what USA was doing. So USA is based in Texas. Believe it or not, there are a lot of people with oil and gas and mineral rights in Texas. I'm shocking, right? Even wind. I had a couple clients that were leasing their land for wind. They put wind turbines on their land, which freaking sucks, dude, because wind turbines are the biggest scam since freaking sliced bread is not a scam. Wind turbines were the biggest scam since the college football playoff replaced the BCS. Yeah, some playoff when the SEC gets 2 bids every single year. Anyway, so it's like such a scam, but they're making bank on that. And USA Trust Department can't manage that. Can't manage that. You're in Texas. Can't manage oil and gas. Can't manage rental real estate. Can't manage other real estate. No. So you're not really a trust department then. You're just a money manager who can pretend you're a trust department. Yeah. Okay. And we're going to charge trust-like fees because we're a trust department. Such a clown show. Is there, my man Twisted Sister said, is there any way to combine my wife's 401k into mine if she's still alive? No, because remember, just going back to the IRAs, these are individual retirement plans. Be it a 401k, be it an IRA, 403b, they're individually owned. So the only way you can combine them is to cash it out. Don't do that. Doesn't make sense. And pay tax. Actually, hold on. I want to get this real quick. Oh, popcorn? Yeah, soda? What kind of soda do you have? I got any food, everybody? All right, so I want to share with you this. Got to get some water. Oops. I thought this was pretty interesting. Hold on just a second. Yeah, right here. So I'm going to interview this guy. We're working on setting up an interview right now. Actually, not tonight, but here in the next couple of weeks, I hope. All right, so check this out. The Bretton Woods Agreement of the 1940s established that most international trade, especially the crucial oil we use to power our economies, must be conducted in dollars. Since the United States is the only country that can create dollars, the rest of the world has to work to obtain our dollars. The US, will eventually make nothing and do nothing, and our culture will be devoted to money management. Typically, this is referred to in more dignified terms. We'll all be economists or financial planners. Well, I could not agree more. We will eventually make nothing, and our culture will be devoted to money manager. That's make work for anyone with a suit and tie and cufflinks. And it's a freaking sad state of affairs, man. Not to go off a negative Nelly tangent, but my man Marcus sent me this video, and I was trying to do a video about it. I just it just sucks. About the I don't have it here now. About the I don't have it anyway. The demographic decline. We're in it right now, and a lot of people say we can replace our women aren't having enough kids, but we can replace it with immigration. And this economist is saying, dude, every single country is the same thing. You know, they all want immigrants, because every single country is a population bomb. It's happening right in front of us. And this guy was saying basically the 16 and younger, I forgot what he said, but basically you have, the baby boomers, the baby bust, I can't remember, the millennials, something like that. And this generation after the millennials, it's not enough kids. And as such, there's just it's like this significant decline of the young people population. The people who do all the grunt work initially, and they're dropping off like flies. And you can replace those immigrants. Like, yeah, but every other country wants immigrants too. And then it's funny. Some guy I was listening to the other day was talking to some Guatemalans immigrants, and they said, "Look, would you even be here if you could make a third of the money back home?" They said, "No, these guys don't want to come here." You know what I'm saying? No one wants. I mean, these guys don't want to leave their freaking native land, their native language, to come here and freaking be treated like crap. You know what I'm saying? For freaking 15, I don't know, $20 a day. I don't even know what they get paid. I don't know. And so yeah, the point being is the demographics is destiny, and there's just not enough kids, man. They're not. And this is bad. This is going to be the economic contraction, which is otherwise known as deflation. I'm telling you, it's inevitable. The economy is going to contract, and that doesn't mean it'll contract today. It might not contract for 5 years. But if you just look at the people, not just in the U.S., the whole world. It's funny, Italy. I thought Italy is where the freaking Pope is, right? Isn't that the Vatican? Yeah, good job there, Pope Francis, encouraging women to have babies, because Italy is like dead. Italy and South Korea there's like no one coming up. It's crazy. So Italy, where the Catholics, the Catholicism really, you really showed the way there, Pope Francis, clown. Anyway, I don't know what happened, but there's not enough kids being born, and as such, there's not enough people to grow an economy. And a shrinking demographic is a shrinking economy, which is deflationary. My wife was telling me about her brother needed to get a range part installed on his oven. He hadn't had an oven for a month and a half. Can't get parts. I was talking. I'm on the HOA, unfortunately, for our little neighborhood. Our neighborhood's so small, it doesn't really matter. But a guy's trying to get a pool installed, and I just approved it. I don't care, but we approved it, and he can't get the town to give him the specs, to approve the specs, because there's so much turnover. There's not enough. They don't have any people in the office to approve or read the specs. There's just no people. So the point being, my friends, is you better get used to living on less. This is about the grand design, by the way. Everyone's like, "What are you talking about the grand design?" Let's just look at it. Here, I'm going to ask you to hang with me here. We're going to look. Oh, man, we're going to look at something here. Almost as if and while I'm bringing this up, you better get used to living with less. It's almost as if it's what the World Economic Forum wanted. Live with less. And it's not even necessarily a bad thing. It's a bad thing when it's forced on you by unelected globalist cabal, but it's coming, man. There's not enough people to do the work that we're accustomed to for everything we need. Supply chains are not. There's just not enough people to do it. And it's only going to get worse. And you better learn to live with less. It's like going back to Soviet Union. You want a freaking plumber? What's the old? I got to find that joke too. 1 second. It's a joke, USSR plumber joke. Let's see if I can't find it. Hold on just a second. Oh, right here. Yeah, this is good. This will be good. All right, so we're gonna read the USS plumber, the Soviet plumber joke. All right, let's check this out. This is funny. All right, let me find the plumber one. Where is it? Right here. All right, right here. So here's a. Can y'all see that? Yeah, sweet. All right, so joke told in the Soviet Union. For context, only 1 out of 7 Soviets actually owned a car. Russians, or I guess Russia, Soviet was all inclusive, but Soviets owned a car. And once you paid up front, there was a 10-year wait to get one. All right, so only 1 out of 7 commies actually owned a car, and you didn't get it right then. So a man walks into the car store wanting to buy a car. He pays the man at the counter, and the man at the counter says, "All right, just come back in 10 years to pick one up." The man replies, "Morning or afternoon?" And the dealer says, "Well, 10 years from now, what difference does it make?" The man replies, "Well, the plumbers are coming over in the morning." He says, "Look, man, I'm already busy in the morning 10 years from now, so the plumbers are coming." Tell me that's not classic. Oh my goodness. And that's why it's look, man, it's gonna be more and more like this in the United States. You can't get the services, you can't get the product you need. And we're so used to just click. Look, I bought this book in 3 days it came. You know what I'm saying? And some of it's because of automation, I grant you, but still somebody's got to do something to get the product done. So someone's got to, you can't just have AI install fix your oven, for instance. You see what I'm saying? You can't just have AI fix your air conditioner. I mean, at some point maybe, but right now it's far, far away. Anyway, the point being is you better be accustomed to live with less. And another reason I want to say that too is you think about the utilities. All right, so I was talking to a guy the other day. He works for a government agency, which I will not name. Let's just put it this way: the vast majority of them are graybeards. It's a pretty important agency. A vast majority are graybeards. Now they like their jobs, and they don't. This is one area where they actually like what they do, so they're probably not leaving anytime soon. But there is no bench, no minor leagues to replace them, none. And the IRS has been saying this for years. We don't have, we need people. We don't have enough people. And regardless of what you say about the IRS, they're like, we don't have enough, and we need people, and there are not enough people behind the people who are retiring to fill the shoes. There just isn't going to be enough. I'm telling you, man. And I know there's a baby, the baby boom, baby bust, and the millennials were another big generation. It's not the same though. It's just not. And as such, you got a lot of people who are going to need people to get stuff done. There's no one there to do it. No one there to do it. And you can see that a mile away. Anyway, so going back to this guy, it's like, look, these people, there's no one to replace us, man. There's not going to be anyone to do this job once we leave. And I'm not going to say what government work that is, but it doesn't take a rocket science to figure out if that's in one government shop, it's going to be many, many others. So just keep that in the back of your mind, because, it's not going to be Soviet Union-ish, but it's certainly going to be supply chain. Supply is going to be dwarfed by the demand, and the demand is only going to be there to do it. Only going to be there to fill the demand, unless. Part 2 of this, you better get a wood stove. I'm telling you, man, because if the utilities guys, alignment and stuff, I mean, think about it. That's a freaking hard ass job. They're not getting paid back. They're getting paid okay, but they're not getting paid back. That's a hard job, and they got to be on the ready to go 24/7. You know what I'm saying? And they got to go out there in the dark and the cold. Just freaking horrible work environment. Horrible work environment. All right, so you take that, and you take your average college-educated guy with a degree in freaking history. He's not going to be a lineman. You know what I'm saying? There's only a certain amount of people that are going to be a lineman. And so those certain amount of people are going to be moving up the age spectrum here, and they're going to be gone. Who's going to get your utilities back up and running? I mean, literally, who's going to do it? 10, 15, 20 years from now, the power goes out. Who's going to fix it? We're so used to saying, sound the electric company, fix it now. They're like, look, we don't have many people to do it, so you're going to have to wait. It's third world country stuff coming down the pike. California, just keep your eye on California, man. It's going to be just like that. You can see it's a mile away. You don't have to be negative to say it. It's just common sense. You don't have enough people. You can't help it, man. It's just the way it's going to be. So you better get yourself a wood stove to keep yourself warm when, not if, but when the power goes out. Oh, but we'll run the natural gas. That's my routine too. I got natural gas. Natural gas is a lot more resilient than electricity. What happens if natural gas goes out for whatever reason? It's the same thing. All right, so I want to show you guys the Georgia guidestones, because this is some ugly stuff here, my friends. So we're gonna go to Georgia. Hold on a second. So we're gonna go to right here, Georgia guidestones. And this is what the freaking elite want. Less people, less opportunity, less consumption, and they're getting it because we've followed into it. And our churches certainly haven't done much to guide us otherwise. But we're a Christian, are we? All right, so the Georgia guidestones are the granite monument erected in 1980 in Elbert County, Georgia. A set of 10 guidelines is inscribed on the structure in 8 modern languages. And a shorter message is inscribed at the top of the structure in 4 ancient languages. It's a big monument. All right, so let's read what it says here. In June 1979, a man using the pseudonym R.C. Christian approached the Elberton Granite Finishing Company on behalf of a small group of loyal Americans and commissioned the structure. Christian explained that the stones would function as a compass, calendar, and clock and should be capable of withstanding catastrophic events. This guy from the Granite Place assumed that he was a nut and attempted to discourage him by providing a quote for the commission, which was several times higher than any project the company had previously taken. To his surprise, R.C. Christian accepted the quote. When arranging payment, Christian said he represented a group which had been planning the guidestone for 20 years and wanted to remain anonymous. Christian delivered the scale model of the guidestones in 10 pages of specification. All right. So here's what the guidestones say. Maintain the 10 guidestones. Maintain humanity under 500 million people in perpetual balance with nature. Guide reproduction wisely. Guide reproduction wisely. Improving fitness and diversity. Guide reproduction wisely. Straight up, Margaret Sanger, is it not? Interesting. I wonder what Webb Du Bois thought about Margaret Sanger. Interesting. Look it up. You'd be surprised. I know you think because Webb Du Bois was somewhat of a black activist that he would be anti-Margaret Sanger. You might want to look that up. Guide reproduction wisely. Sounds eugenicist, doesn't it? Unite humanity with a living new language. One world language. Rule passion, faith, and tradition, and all things with tempered reason. That's fine. Faith should not be with tempered reason, though. Faith should be freaking passionate. Rule passion with tempered reason. Okay. But unite humanity with a living new language. All under one language. Unite under one king. Interesting. 500 million people reproducing wisely, uniting under a new language. Protect people and nations with fair laws and just courts. Who could be upset with that? Was who decides what's fair? Well, the people that are using the guidestones. Let all nations rule internally, resolving external let all nations rule internally, resolving external disputes in a world court. Well, Josh, that's the ICC. We screwed the stupid ICC, man, International Criminal Court. Let all nations, that's the WTO, the World Trade Organization. Screw the WTO. Let all nations rule internally, resolving external disputes in a world court. Avoid petty laws and useless officials. Well, I like that. Balance personal rights with social duties. It's kind of like you don't want to get the jabba jabba. You got no rights because it's your patriotic duty as an American to get jabbed. Prize truth, beauty, and love, seeking harmony with the infinite. All right, I get that. Be not a cancer on earth. Leave room for nature. Leave room for nature. Yeah. Um, let these guys stop. Let these be guidestones to an age of reason. Interesting. Age of reason. And if memory serves, they have something in there where you could like see the heavens. I can't remember, but that's nothing evil about that. That's for sure. So there you go. That's what world we're living in, man. It's almost by design. And people say, you're a conspiracy theorist. It's literally not a conspiracy. I mean, it's a conspiracy. It's not a theory, though. It's a fact right there. It's not a conspiracy. Again, a conspiracy just means the gathering of thoughts and ideas to perpetuate something that you want to happen. Yeah, it's a complete conspiracy. That's fine. It's not a theory, though. It's absolutely fact. And if you look at history of the left wing, and it's not red and blue left and right. This is freaking the Satanist under the Paul Ehrlichs of the world and the green movement. The green movement, and then you look at everybody else who believe in a supernatural, infinite being, i.e., a God, the creator of all heavens and earth. You see this huge dichotomy there, and it can't combine. It can't. One hates humanity, and one is supposed to love humanity. And sadly, the people who are supposed to love humanity are being suckered into not loving humanity, which is why they're not having enough kids, because their work is more important. Their current creature comforts are more important than children. Sad. It is the nature of where it's at, though. It's where we are today. And to deny that is just be stupid, because it happened. You can see it with the population of the world all over the place. And this is exactly what the people, the Georgia Guidestones and all the Kabbalists want. They want depopulation, man. Bill Gates wants depopulation, but he's going to save the world with his crazy. All right, let's keep going back here. I don't know how we got off that tangent. Yeah, he's not answering my question, because we get on tangents here, man. We get on tangents. So what makes it fun? It's just get on tangents and talk smack. I wrote you and responded, but still not clear. In bucket strategy, don't you have to cannibalize your shares in order to take profits? Yeah, if the markets are down, sure. Hey, $5. All right, who gave me $5? What kind of question you got? I hope you do more retirement videos for single people. Can Greg retire? I enjoy the Can Greg retire video. All right, Carl. My man Carl says, you're not doing enough retirement planning videos for single people. Look, I'm totally goofing on Carl. So anyone out there getting offended, it's a ongoing thing I got my man Carl. Carl was a little bit hard on Gen XX the other day. I did see a question, and Gen XX asked what a CDL was, and Carl, you went a little bit too strong on her. All right, so when people are asking questions, my friends, they're asking questions because they don't know. So if they don't know, it doesn't make them stupid. Now, I get it. You could look on Google 100%. But what fun is that? The dialogue is fun. So if someone's asking a question that seems simple to you that they could go on Google, don't freaking hammer them and say, like my man Carl did. All right. So it's like, a little bit over the top. But hey, everyone makes mistakes. It's all good. Can you have too much in an HSA? Should one consider deferring contributions to a brokerage account if an HSA exceeds 150,000? Man, I don't know. I mean, that's you got an HSA over 150,000, you're freaking sitting pretty. Yeah, I mean, HSA is really not supposed to be used for liquidity, that's for sure. So the answer to that is probably you're probably going to be okay on the HSA, I would say. Got Kevin in the house. Hey, Tom from Maryland. All right. Right here. A non-Roth IRA. I don't know what that says. We got Bruce. Will be the Rams or the Bengals in the big game. So my son and I are betting $15. I got the Rams. He's got the Bungles. I hope it's the Rams. All right. So Jill corrected herself. Right on. That's why you got to be careful, my friends. Not just we all make mistakes here, man. But you just got to make sure that you don't just listen to commenters on anything. You got to do no one's more responsible for your money or cares more about your money than you. It's not a 5-year mandatory distribution, it's 10 years. So under the new law that Trump signed, and I got no qualm with it. Non-spouse beneficiaries must take their IRAs and 401ks out within 10 years as an FYI. So they got 10 years to exhaust that thing. Was it the Senate that wanted it to be 5 years and the House? Yeah, I think it was the Senate. So again, if you go back to committee, if you know how the freaking sausage is made, the House passes their version, the Senate passes their version, it goes to committee, they iron it out, and that comes back to be signed by the president. So the Senate wanted a non-spouse beneficiary to exhaust it within 5 years. The House wanted 10, and the House prevailed in this regard. So right now it's a 10-year distribution from a non-spouse beneficiary. So if I leave $1 million to my 4 kids, $250,000 a pop, all right, and I don't plan on doing that, but if I did, they have 10 years in which to withdraw that money, plus the growth of whatever it gets. They can do it once, they can do it 10 years, they can do whatever they want, but 10 years has got to be withdrawn. And they got to pay, in that case, tax if it's a pre-tax account. If it's a Roth, it's tax-free. Second point of that, remember, non-spouse beneficiaries are not shielded from lawsuits. I mean, we had 9-0 Supreme Court decision in 2014. So if you inherit your IRA from your mom and you try to open a pizza place and the pizza place goes down and you have a debt to the building that you were leasing it from, they can sue you and they can go after your IRA that you're inherited from your mom. That's a non-spouse IRA. In fact, that's literally the case that happened in Indiana or something like that, which led to the Supreme Court ruling to say non-spouse IRAs are not shielded from lawsuits. All right, we got Windsor says he needs a shout out. Yo, yo, yo. Hey, got another 5 shemakas. Right on. Kurt says, thanks to you, I'm retiring to 18 months. Right on, Kurt. All right, cool. You only give me $5? What's up with that, man? Just goofing you. All right, so we got Rams going to be a tough to beat, but who knows? Well, I mean, hell, they almost gave away the game to the freaking 49ers and to the Bucks. Funny thing about LA is no one cares. You know what I'm saying? Like in Los Angeles, they don't care about football. And yeah, I guarantee Cincinnati's going nuts for the Bungles, but LA, they're like, what? The Rams? I thought they were still in St. Louis. How did I get my beautiful to take a picture for my channel? That's a good question, Marie. So I basically said, hey, Chris Barfield's a good guy, and he sent me clients. So my wife, or referrals, and my wife says, oh, money? Yeah, I'll do anything for money. It's been a joke. I'm just joking. She won't do anything for money. Oh, here goes baby cakes. But anyway, so I said, just pose. And she said, okay. So let me show you the picture of the beautiful. And right there. With a Barfield Financial growler. Chris Barfield keeping Charlotte's coffee toasted, is what I said. Sold a rental house last year and depreciated for about 20 years. How bad is recouped depreciation? Well, you're going to have to pay the tax on it. Better have some cash money on the side, man, to pay those taxes. Indianapolis in the house. Pablo says, see you. Ooh, that's pretty good, Denise. Pablo says, see you in retirement. Ooh, I like that. Now, should it say Pablo says on there or just a picture of Pablo, see you in retirement? That's good. Let's see what Denise has to say there. That's good, Denise. I like that. Oof, missing a lot of comments here. Ooh, sorry, guys. All right, so it says Pablo says, see you in retirement. That looks pretty good. With a picture of Pablo on there. I like that. Let's see if anyone. All right, Denise, send me an email if you would. Because I got a lot of comments to. All right. Yeah, just send the email if you will. All right. Do I have an M60 in storage for the? There's not going to be a civil war, man. No way. Mundane things come. Hey, young timer, I agree. High five. Mundane things come fun when you're drunk, and then mundane things make you want to freaking piss vinegar, you know what I'm saying, and start fighting people, which is what happened to me. So 90% of the time I was a freaking fun drunk, 10% of the time I was nasty. Mundane things make you fun, and 10% of the time, mundane things make you get the six-pack muscles. Freaking, so damn embarrassing. Is Vanguard playing the same woke card as used? Yes, 100%. Vanguard can kiss my big fat behind. 100%. I mean, look, I had a lady, we've been emailing back and forth, and it's a perpetual question I ask is, are you, the capital markets, how can I say this? I think about this a lot, actually, are run by borderline evil people. BlackRock is an evil company. Vanguard is becoming borderline. And if you're investing in the capital markets with companies that are doing evil, and your justification is that's how I have to make money, are you justifying money? And it's one of those things. I don't know. That's the thing is I'm not that quite that black and white, if that makes sense. But I do think about this, and like when you think about forcing things into people's bodies, and not even granting religious exemptions when they ask. I mean, it's one thing to say, "Look, man, we want you to do this. You should do it. If you really believe against it, we need to file religious exemption. Just clear it. Why? I mean, why? Why make it? Just they're not granting religious exemptions, which means you have to take it, and you don't have to. You can quit. I get it. It's tough. I get that, but it's not like they're being held down by force of law. But companies are perpetuating this crap, and they're perpetuating. Yeah, I just think about a lot about this a lot. Am I being part of a industrial corporatism that's doing more harm than good? I don't know what else to say. I do. I think about it, and I so by investing in these companies, I mean, okay, so you can say, well, don't invest, but then if you're still using those companies, for your goods and services, that's just as bad, because the only reason these companies get profits is because you buying stuff from them. It's one of those ones that I think about. I just don't have an answer for, if that makes sense. But it's one of those things I think about, man. Like, the facts are, you still gotta live. You know what I'm saying? And anyway, but yeah, Vanguard is whoa, Sunny and Squim. Wow. Yeah, Denise, I don't like Pablo's living a dog's life in retirement, because I want you to be retired too. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I want Pablo to be encouraging. Come on, buddy. Other people to quit their crappy old job and literally save their life. Come on, you know what? Come on. Everybody wants to see it. There he is. Look. So a picture of that beautiful boy. Oh, yeah. Now Pablo doesn't share his antibodies with me. Only Finney does. Whoa. Joe's saying they got almost a foot of snow last week. Yeesh. Uh-oh. Finney's watching. Hold on a second. Got a text. Oh, Finnegan. He's upstairs in my beautiful. Oh, there he is watching TV. But then GW. Why you're from Maryland? Why the hell are you talking about Eli Manning, dude? What the hell? Eli Manning's 2-0 against Tampa Bay. It's funny. One New York newspaper, I chuckled at this. They say, after losing the Super Bowl twice to the Giants, Tom Brady decides to retire. Hey, Frenchie mama. All right. Here's the weather perfect. Just returned from Florida, where it's 50s and 60s. Was dreamy blue skies. Yeah, but it's not gonna be dreamy blue skies come freaking September. I mean, the summer. Yeah, I'm in VTI. So my biggest holding. So my holdings are this. By far and away, my biggest holding is VTV. I own 70% VTV, probably 20% in VDIGX. I own some UGI and Principal Financial. I own some stock in that. I think round lot, 100 shares, 200, something like that. That's in my IRA. And my brokerage account is all VTI, and that's it. And so I plug every 2 weeks, I put money into VTI in my brokerage account. So I have no VTI in my IRA, but my IRA is significantly larger than my brokerage account. But I'm just plugging in my brokerage account. And by the way, I just want to say something along these lines too. I use my brokerage account, and I'm not recommending you guys do this, but a lot of people say, where should I have my savings account, my emergency account? If you're retired, it should be literally in cash, in my opinion. I talked about the Ginnie Mae before. Either of those fine. Ginnie Mae, cash. But if you're still plugging, I just put it, I don't really try to keep much in cash other than what I need to pay taxes or short-term stuff. But, I do have cash, but that money's going out to pay the tax man. Any kind of big bills I know it's coming up, I'll have. But I don't really intend to keep a lot of cash while I'm working. So my emergency account is literally my brokerage account. I know that's scary because you're like, it could be down 35, 50%. Yeah, it could be, what I'm saying. But you're plugging money in. You're not really trying. Now I keep, I do keep about $10,000 in like a specific emergency account, just as an FYI. So just as an FYI, I do keep money in a specific emergency account. I also have the line of credit, a home equity line of credit against this thing. So for quick cash, I have access to it. But I don't think you should be keeping that much more if you're still building and you're still in the accumulation phase. If you really get down to it, you burn through your emergency account. My emergency account would probably pay for, most expenses that I could think of. Won't probably pay for roof. You know what I'm saying? But generally speaking, it paid for enough to keep us afloat for a couple months for sure. And then I can access my equity, my house, which I don't want to. But everything else is invested because I'm plugging, and I'm not planning to take that money out for 10 years. Now, if my emergency accounts blow through, and I don't really plan on tapping my equity line too much, then I'd tap it in my brokerage account. And if it's down 50%, that sucks. But hey, it's not likely to happen that it'd be down 50%, coinciding with the time I need it. That's not likely to happen. It could, and that's a risk I'm willing to take, but not likely to happen for those two things to happen. And at the same point, I'm still plugging money in. So let's just say you got $50,000 in your brokerage account right now, and you're like, man, that's essentially my backup emergency fund. That could be down $25,000. Yeah, that's true. Hey, not likely to happen at the same time. And on top of that, you're still plugging and plugging and plugging. So the real risk is that you're down $25,000, and that is a risk. But if you have an emergency account and a home equity line of credit, you can tap into before you have to take that money out. That's down $25,000. That should get you through. So that's the way I look at it. Now, with that said, it works like a charm until it doesn't. And just going back to what I've said before about my experience in 2008, we had everything, and I was plugging Roth IRA contributions, put it on a credit card, 0% finance. So I always did. So I'm going to make a Roth contribution for me and the better half on the 1st of January every year. I have it cash. I can put it on a credit card, and I'll pay it off over the course of a year. You know what I'm saying? A 0% financing. Lo and behold, you never really did pay it off the course of the year. You paid it over the course of 18 months or 20 or 2 years or something like that. But it worked as long as it worked. Then all of a sudden, the global financial crisis happened, and all of a sudden, I got the bill from the bank saying, "Oh man, you owe $300 in interest." I said, "What?" I got 0% financing. And they said, "Oh, you should have looked at the fine print. It says you don't have 0% financing. You only have 0% financing as long as the markets don't fall off a cliff," or whatever the hell they said. I said, that nearly sunk me. I'm not going to lie to you. I was not prepared. And as such, that was that was problematic. But I survived, as you will. You'll survive. Love this guy. Remember, side note too, you're never going to run out of money, my friends. You're just never going to, because Social Security is always going to be there. And I was talking to people yesterday as a client. They're going to have more money retired than they do right now because they both have small pensions, not huge pensions, but they live in a townhouse worth like $250,000. Nothing fancy, just regular people, man. He drives an old, Ford Bronco. She drives you know what I'm saying? It's just typical people. The issue is that, they've been they they don't spend that much. And as such, they've been saving and saving. And when they retire, they will have more money than they do now, even though they both between them, they make 160,000, but they max their, he maxes his 401k contribution. I can't remember what she does, but they got to pay income taxes. They live in a high tax state, and they got to pay FICA. All right, so they got to pay FICA, all that stuff. So net of taxes and fees and everything they're putting in, when they retire with small pensions plus Social Security and RMDs, they're going to be living on, have more income than they do now. Isn't that crazy? And that's why I was so pissed off at Larry Kolikoff, because that goes back to the old concept of consumption smoothing. And that's what, when he wrote that, he did not, there's no way he wrote that article that I talked about last week. It's like, Larry, this is completely goes against everything you've been saying. It'd be like me, I don't even know what it'd be like me saying. But freaking, the whole point is that they, when these guys are saving and saving and saving, their actual amount they can consume is way down. Why? Because they got a mortgage, they got kids, they have taxes to pay, they're putting away money in their 401k, so they feel squeezed. Then all of a sudden, it's like the freaking top breaks open, and you're like, man, we got more money than we can shake a stick at. But by then you're 75 years old, and you're like, oh, now it's too late. You see what I'm saying? So what Larry Kolikoff and Scott Burns talks about is consumption smoothing. Don't live like a miser now. So when you're 75, you freaking have more money that's coming out your ears. Then you'd be like, what am I going to do with that? Smooth it. I hope that makes sense. Well, tracking's going good. So I'll show you. Well, it's just last week was pretty, brutal for everybody. But yeah, it's going good, man. So I'm keeping that up. I don't think I'll do it every day. Like I didn't do it today. So, I haven't done it in 3 days. So I got to do it today. All right, so we'll do that. But I've got 5 days of data so far. I kind of fell off when everyone's getting snow. That was kind of the purpose. We got Lisa Hughes in the house. Que paso. All right. Let's see what we got. My man says, Rodolfo, hey, what are your thoughts about using Windsor 2 instead of Wellington? Well, Windsor 2 doesn't have any bonds. And so it's not going to give you that cushion that I talked about in a video I did earlier today. Let's take a gander at what Windsor 2 has done. So let's see what we got here. So we're going to share. But that's a pretty good question, Rodolfo. Appreciate that. All right, so we got Windsor Vanguard, Windsor 2, right there, investor shares. Yeah. All right, so we got, let's see, 2008 was down 41, 2007 was down 3, 2018 was down 12, 2001 and 2 is only down 1, so it's definitely value stocks. So this tells you right here is definitely value stocks, because what happened was 2000 and 2001 is the growth stocks that got crunched. 2002 everything got crunched, but I mean this is good. So Windsor, that right there shows you his value. It's great fun, man. The drawback is right there, 41%. Wellington that same year is down 22, so it's just tough for me to my preference would be Wellington for sure. All right. But good question. Lamar Ravens, yeah. Curious to answer for Michael Davies at 810. Did I see it? What Michael Davies at 810 had said? Let's see. Michael Davies at 810. I don't see ya. Michael Davies at 810. Greg? Don't see it. Is that on Rumble? Oops, what happened? Yeah, I don't see it, man. Let's keep going. All right, so What's the kid having twins? Why is the kid having twins? Okay, I don't know what that is. All right. Okay. The perpetual question: with interest rates on the rise, is Ginnie Mae still a good source for the bucket? Yes. I'm gonna do another video on this, and I'm gonna ask you: show me when bonds got crushed with higher interest rates. Show me. I just want to see it. Show me, and then show me the next year. I mean, just literally, we keep hearing that interest rates. I hear this all the time about Wellesley and Wellington. The video I did the other day, I had 60% stocks versus 40% bonds for Wellesley. It's the exact opposite. The point still stood. Some people get like, whatever. All right. So the point being, let's just look at Wellesley for a second. Wellesley has 40% in stocks, 60% in bonds. All right. So if Wellesley has a duration, I can't remember what it was. We'll just say 8%. All right. So it has let's just look it up. Let's look at this while we're doing this live. All right. So we're going to go into this. We're going to go to Vanguard. I just wish they have this huge fear of interest rates increasing, like destroying bonds. There's no evidence of that. There's none. Especially Ginnie Mae. What the hell, man? I'm not, whoever to answer that question, I'm not yelling at you. I'm just like, dude, look at your freaking history. There's no evidence of this whatsoever. Now, long bonds, yeah, but even the following year, they've always came back smoking hot. Always. Will they continue to do that? I have no clue. I also don't have stocks will do. But given the evidence, the overwhelming evidence of increasing rates and bonds, hurting bonds a little bit, but not anything. It's just no big deal, man. None. It's crazy how many people are so intimidated by this idea of interest rates just destroying bonds. Like, show where's the evidence of that? All right, so let's go to we're gonna go to Vanguard, and we're gonna show you right here. Okay, and we're gonna show you Wellesley Income Fund. All right, so we're gonna go personal investors. Okay, so replace them in a search. Not sure what's going on. Okay, there we go. V Winks 2 and 2. Remember Wink? Be back in 2 and 2. All right. Wink Martindale, that's who it was. Wink Martindale from the dating game, whatever it's called. All right, so let's take a look at old Wellesley. This Wellesley, 40% stocks, 60% bonds. We're going to look at the duration here, and the duration is 8 years. Okay, so 8.1 years. All right, so let's close out this for just a second. All right. So the duration for Wellesley is 8.1 years. 60% of Wellesley is in a bond. All right, so 0.6 times. So what we do is we take 0.6, because 60% of Wellesley is in a bond. We times that by the 8.1 duration, because the duration is only applicable to the bonds. It's not applicable to the stocks. There is no duration in stock. So a bond has a duration of 8.1 times 0.6. So the true Wellesley duration is 4.86. 4.86. All right. What does duration mean? For every 1% rise in interest rates, the bonds will drop by 4.86. That's quantitative. Yeah, you can quantify that. Now, markets aren't as quantifiable as what all these CFAs would have you believe, but this is the best you can go on. So you say, look, so for every 1% increase in interest rates, the prices of the bonds inside Wellesley will drop by 4.86%. That's what they do, man. I don't think that's a big deal. On top of that, what happens to stocks with increases in interest rates? Well, generally speaking, the stocks have a don't fight the Fed mechanism where the Fed's raising the stocks. You basically want to hang tight because the stocks usually go down. Why do the stocks go down when the Fed's raising? Because bonds become more attractive. So what does this do with Wellesley? Well, it makes Wellesley, the bonds get hit a little bit because of duration risk, but it also makes stocks get hit a little bit because of don't fight the Fed. And if we look at Wellesley, and we can do this very simply. We can say, okay, Wellesley, let's make sure I got the right thing up here. Okay. We're going to go to Dan Coolbert's spreadsheet on this. 55e.co, 55e.co, not com, .co. I have no idea what 55e.com is. Probably a porn site. I don't know, but it has nothing to do with Dan. So we're going to look at the Wellesley fund here, and we're going to see what happened when the Wellesley fund with interest rates going up. I mean, I literally did a video on this, and for some reason, people still getting that nervous Nellies on this. I frankly don't get it. So here's inflation, 3.2, 6.2 to 11%. Here's interest rates right here, 3.8 to 6.9 to 8.0. That's the 1 month Treasury bill. If we want to look at the 10-year, we can do that. It frankly won't matter, but we'll do the 10-year Treasury if that makes people feel better. I know there's always somebody says, "Oh, you should have done this." Okay, we'll look at that instead, and we'll look at the 10-year Treasury bill, 6.57. All right, but again, the 10-year Treasury bill is not what the Fed is raising. The Fed is raising the federal funds rate, which is more applicable to the 1 month Treasury bill. So we're going to raise the rates according to what the Fed is actually in control of, which is the, where was it? Treasuries. Where's the Treasury? Did I miss it? One second. Yeah, right there. All right, so there's 1 month Treasury bill. All right, so when they talk about the Fed raising, they're not talking about the 10-year. They're talking about the 1 month or the Fed funds rate. It's the same thing. All right, essentially. So basically, what you see is the rates of interest went up from 3.8 to 8%. That's 420 basis points, man. 420 basis points. Not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4. So the duration of 4.8, the Wellesley fund should do what exactly? It should go down by 4.8 times 4, which whatever that is, that's about 20%. And yet the Wellesley fund was down 3.5 in 1973. Pretty interesting, is it not? And yet 1973 and 1974, stocks got smoked too. Interesting. So it's actually almost as if the bonds gave the Wellesley the cushion when the stocks are going down, which is exactly what we want to see happen. Now, people say, yeah, but look at the rate of return you're getting on those bonds. Well, look at the inflation rate. It went from 3.2 to 11. I mean, look, I know we have high inflation now, but I don't think anyone's expecting to have 11% inflation, 6.2, 11 to 9. I don't think people are expecting that. And it's certainly, but no one can sit there and say the interest rate is going up, destroy the fund. No one can. I mean, you could try, but you'd be wrong. Then we go back to 1978 and 80, same thing. Inflation went from 6.5 to 13.5, and yet, so we have interest rates going from 5.1 to 14. And Wellesley, look at that. There's no downside on look, there's downside, don't get me wrong, but in terms of what people think with inflation and interest rates, there's just no evidence to say that will kill Wellesley. And if you look at, so let's just look real quick. We're going to stop this real fast. And we're going to we'll just look at the Ginnie Mae when the rates are going up on Ginnie Mae. So remember, the Fed was raising in 94 and 99. 94, let's share this screen with you guys. All right, share screen. I'm not here to convince you. I'm just telling you, this argument just drives you up the wall. I just want to say, why was everyone so, it's weird how much people have been trained to think, hey, if rates go up, the bonds are going to get killed, I tell you. I say, where is the evidence of it, man? So we go to performance. So remember, the Fed was raising in 94 and 99. I'll show you exactly how much they're raising by. They actually say 94 Fed raising is one of the reasons Clinton lost Congress. I don't know about that, but still. All right, so let's see what the Ginnie Mae did at 94 and 99. So here comes 94. Ginnie Mae was down 0.95. Here's 99. Ginnie Mae was up 0.78. Here comes 95. The year after was down. Ginnie Mae was up 17%. Here comes 2000. The year after it was up 11%. All right, so let's look at Vanguard Total Bond Index. Vanguard Total Bond Index. Total bond. I wanted, all right, right there. V. All right, here we look at this guy because this will have more than just government national mortgages in there. They'll have corporates and mostly government. So, all right, so let's look at what the total bond market index did in 94 and 99 to get a better gauge of bond markets as a whole, how they got smoked when interest rates are going up. And you'll see, oh, yeah, I don't want that. Don't care about Yahoo's top 10. Performance. There you go. '94 is down 2.66. 95 is up 18. 99 is down 0.76. 2000 is up 11. So now let's do and we can even go to long-term bonds. It's fine. Vanguard, long-term. Let's do long-term treasury, right? No, do investment grade. That's fine. All right, there you go. All right, so let's go to performance. And just as a side note, the most risky short-term bonds are going to be the lowest coupon and the longest maturity. So zero coupon bonds have the most volatility as interest rates go up. Zero coupon bonds with long maturities. I don't even know if there's a 30-year treasury bond. I don't know anymore. But a zero coupon bond with a long maturity will have the most volatility. All right, so just keep that in mind. The most risky bonds on the volatility side, not risk in terms of his ability to pay his bills, will be the lower the coupon, the more volatility. The higher the coupon, the less volatility. The lower the coupon, the longer the maturity, the more volatility. The higher the coupon, the lower maturity, the quicker it matures, the lower the volatility. Just you can remember that'll probably help you. Anyway, here's long-term investor grade shares. All right, let's take a look at this guy. I don't know. Yeah, so here you go. Oh my goodness, it's down. Oh, long-term is down 5% in 1994. Oh, it got killed. In 1999, it was down 6%. Oh my goodness! And then the next year is up 26%. The next year is up 11%. I can't remember if they're. I imagine they were probably raising here too in 2013. I just forgot. Anyway, all right. So enough, my friends, of this issue that bonds. I probably get this email every day, and I'm sorry if I sound frustrated, my man David W. There. I literally hear this all the time. I'm like, I don't know what more to say on this. I thought I've said it 1,000 times that I just want evidence that bonds get killed when the interest rates go up. I guess if 5% bond is getting killed, then don't touch a bond. But I don't understand that. Anyway, let's keep going. All right, EIEIO says 50. He's 58. Is it worth funding a Roth? Plan to work till 62. Sure. Always worth funding a Roth. Absolutely. Kevin says he's seeking greater volatility this year. The Fed is issuing debt to prop up the market. Their goal is to wipe out the middle class. They're doing a pretty good job, man. If I roll my 401k to a traditional IRA, can I still make a Roth IRA contribution for the same year? Yeah, as long as you have earned income. And your earned income, all pro limited, and your earned income is below, I can't remember what it is, $100,000. I just forgot. But anyway, yes, you have to have earned income to make a Roth contribution, 100%. If you could visit any country, which would it be? I'd love to see parts of Europe and Asia. Retirement goals. I want to go to if I could visit one country, I'd want to go to Crete in Greece. But Greece has gone Nazi, so they can kiss my big fat behind. I'd like to see where the clan is from in Ireland. That'd be fun. But I don't have any I like America, man. USA in your face. Freaking, I love it here. Yeah, we're not perfect, but my goodness, we're a hell of a lot better than every other country on the earth. That's for damn sure. New Zealand, man, they can kiss my big fat behind too. You go Nazi, I don't want anything to do with you. Remember, the reason they go Nazi is simply because the people wanted them to. So all these people hold on a second. All these people are like the government. Look what they're doing. It's that the government. Jacinda freaking Nazi, Jacinda Hitler down there, whatever her name is. She ran for re-election and won overwhelmingly. So that tells me I don't want anything to do with New Zealanders, those Kiwis. You know what I'm saying? Australia, same thing, man. I mean, this is the thing that makes me more mad than anything. It's not the government dictating, it's the people allowing it. They want this because they've been so scared for so long with our creature comforts that they can't think. They can't. They've lost the ability to think. They don't want to. They want the bread and circuses and let the white lab coats tell them what to do. It's freaking genius. Eisenhower warned us of this. So many people have warned us of scientism. It's got to be beaten. But right now, it's just freaking, it's moving along and taking names, and no one, very, very few people seem to care. And it's sad. But there's enough people, they're my man here, where literally he lost his medical license because he wouldn't do what California said to do. He said, I'm not doing that. You kiss my butt. And got to be more people willing to take that risk, if that makes sense. You know what I'm saying? And it's tough. It's tough. But the facts are, when you got boatloads of debt, you have this consumer bread and circuses mentality. Look, I am there. That's why I'm so desperate to pay off this loan that I have on my house. I just, it's tough to be independent when you owe, so off to work you go. It's tough to be freedom fighter when you have all this debt. It's just tough, man. And the cabal has done such a great thing of waving this carrot in front of us with this freaking big fat 2x6 that they're going to spank you with if you don't keep chasing the carrot and buying more things with debt and debt and debt. And if there's anything that we can learn over from Japan, is at some point it doesn't mean anything. And that's why Japan is freaking fantastic. I love Japan, man. I'd like to go, but I don't have any big desire to go. But that's why Japan freaking, they had this issue with their debt and they're not going back. It seems. I don't live there. I don't know anyone on. Well, I do know a couple people on the ground, but I don't know. I just read what I read, and it says like Japan, they just don't want to borrow. They're like, no, we went through this. We're okay with a standard of living that might not be as abundant as you guys in the West, or affluent, but we're okay with that. I'm actually pretty keen and cautiously optimistic that more and more Americans are waking up into that as well. I hope, man. I hope this abundant society, and I live in abundance, you know what I'm saying? But the cash, what's the word I'm looking for? The creature comforts, no other way I can say it. Society that we've all come accustomed to, it's breaking in front of our very eyes. And I just don't know if there's enough people who are going to wake up in time to fix it. And that doesn't mean we're all going to die, and we're going to die, but it just doesn't mean that there's going to be a bifurcated society. And on that side are the people who just want to be told. They literally want to be told what to do. They don't want to think. They're going to leave it to the Faucis of the world. Francis Collins, because they're all highly credentialed and they speak well. They go on CNN and they talk like they know what the hell they're talking about. And they just don't. And yet these guys over here are quacks. He's a quack. Why is he a quack? Well, because he thinks differently than what he should think. Why? Well, because the lab coat guys. Okay. And anyway, but it's interesting too. I'm pretty excited by this. A guy like Brett Weinstein and his wife, guys like, I don't follow him too much, but I see him on Rumble. Russell Brand. Look, I'm tired of Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan, he doesn't do anything for me. I appreciate his interviews, but he's I think he's calculated opposition, frankly. But there's enough guys that have come around that are like, that normally are left wingers, and they're like, this doesn't, Viva Frey, who's probably doing a live stream right now from Montreal. These are guys that are liberal minded that just said this isn't right. What's going on? And I don't want a part of it, and I see that a lot. Unfortunately, I see a lot of right wingers too, purportedly right wingers who. They've lost their minds. They follow the propaganda. And they're probably pushing for a war right now in Ukraine. They're probably saying, we got to get out there and go to Ukraine. Let's put American soil, blood and soil at risk so we can show Putin that we mean business. Yeah. I'm still a right winger. I'm a nationalist, a populist nationalist on the right for sure. I don't believe in abortion for sure. I hate abortion. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, marriage should be between a husband and wife. I'm not against gay marriage. I just think at the end of the day, we should be promoting marriage the traditional way, promoting families the traditional way. That doesn't mean we hate people who don't think like that. It just says at the end of the day, there's a society that's built better with dads and moms and children. That's just a fact. That doesn't mean other people are evil. Doesn't mean they shouldn't have the same rights. It just means we need to go back to saying we've tried all this crap. Let's go back to what has worked since the dawn of mankind. Husband, wife, kids. Simple as pie. Oh my goodness, that's so offensive. Frankly, don't care. All right. What funds can you pay the taxes due when you do a Roth conversion? All right. So if you're under the age of 59 and a half, Joanne, you really got to pay your taxes from cash. Because if you do a Roth conversion and you pay your taxes from the IRA from which you did the Roth conversion, it's a premature distribution, which means to be subject to a 10% penalty and the income tax, by the way. You got to pay income tax on the distribution that you're using to pay the tax. And then because it's a premature distribution, because you're under the age of 59 and a half, you got to pay the tax. So if you're under the age of 59 and a half and you're doing a Roth conversion, make sure you have that money from a side account of some sort. Even if you have to borrow on a credit card, do not have it coming out of the IRA. It doesn't make sense. Yeah, I saw that too, Chicken Charlie. I know the ADP job numbers were like literally the worst thing ever, and the job numbers on Friday were through the roof. No one knows nothing. I mean, I don't want to sit there and say the numbers are biased. I just don't think anyone knows, frankly, because look, I hate that. When Trump's in office, is the greatest numbers ever. When Biden is in office, the BLS numbers are wrong. When Obama's in office, the numbers were lied about. But when Trump's in office, they were right. And I hate that crap, man. It's like if the numbers are bad under Obama and or whatever because they were manipulated to show Obama looking good, and the same numbers came out with Trump, you can't say that they're not manipulated under Trump and now say they're being manipulated again under Biden. But I did see that too. I just chuckled. I was talking to my wife, said it doesn't make any sense. ADP numbers are literally horrible. The BLS numbers are through the roof. Something smells of Denmark. All right. Man, it's already been an hour and a half. We are flying along, man. All right. Should I put half my portfolio in Vanguard total stock market? I'm retiring in 7 years. Man, I got no clue. No, I can't tell you if you should do that or not. I don't know. All right. So Hillbilly Sportsman. 5 years from retirement, my 401k is in Fidelity Target Fund. That's 50 stocks and 50 bonds. Should I stay there? Look, guys, I don't know what your circumstances are. I don't know. So VTI, Total Stock Index, was down from top to bottom, 2007 to 2009, 57%. 57%. Can you handle that? I don't know. I don't know what the Fidelity Fund was down, but we'll assume it was down 30%. You guys are 5 years. I think the other guy was 7 years from retirement. Can you handle being down 30 to 57%? I'm not saying you can or can't. I don't know. That's the way you got to look at it. So let's use this in real numbers. For every 100, let's just draw this out, man. I mean, let's show you what this means. For every $100,000 you had in VTI, the Total Stock Index, it was down to $43,000 18 months later. 18 months later. All right. So now you're going to retire. 18 months has gone by. So now for my man, Hillbilly Sportsman, just give an example. Now he's 3.5 years closer. He retires only 3.5 years now as opposed to 5. So let's look at how long it will take. I hope I can do this. For 43,000 is our present value. Not put any money in, and we want 100,000 to get back to even. and we're going to get, we'll just say, okay, we're going to do that in 5 years. No, 6 years. Oops. So we got 43,000. Okay. We would need to get 15% a year. All right, so let me show you what I'm doing. So my man, the first guy wrote, he said he's going to retire in 7 years. Should he put his portfolio in the total stock index? So it goes from 100,000 to 43,000. All right, 100,000 to 43,000. Now he's going to retire in 5.5 years. So I'm just saying 6. He would need to get 15% a year, each and every year, for that to get back to just where he was. 15% for 6 years. That's what happens if you have a huge market decline. Remember, if you go down from 100 to 50, you've gone down 50%. It takes 100% return to get back to where you were. I just simply don't think people understand that enough. That the downside risk is certainly more substantial than the upside gain for those who are that within spit distance of retirement. That doesn't mean you don't do it. It just means you doggone better think about these in a pure number perspective. What if it went 100,000 to 43,000? And I mean, is that gonna, what if that happened? What are you going to do? Can you do it? Can you handle that? The answer is then freaking go crazy. I got no problem with that. But if you can't handle it, then what the hell are you doing? You see what I'm saying? It's just that simple. Now, on the other hand, here's the thing I think a lot of people miss. Imagine both these guys are still putting money in. You see what I'm saying? So this is why I say it's okay to be in the accumulation stage a lot more aggressive than right about the accumulation stage, because you're still plugging money in. So even if the market's falling and you're still putting money in, what you're doing is you're buying shares at a very, very cheap rate because the market's down so low. And so it's a tough one, man. But and they'll make the pain less is where I'm going with this. But the pain is still going to be there. I've just been in this business for a long time. I've dealt with so many people. And it's easy in hindsight to say, yeah, when the market's down 30, 40, and 50%, yeah, I could handle that. Because you know what happened in 2009, 10, and all the way up to 2021. It's a hell of a lot different while you're mired in that time frame. All right. And you're about ready to retire. I'm telling you, man, it's not, because you don't know what the future is. You look in hindsight, you say, oh yeah, no, I was able to handle that. So in 2007, 8, and 9, you're able to handle that because you were still working. You weren't about to retire. 100%. I even wonder if you were then. And I'm just talking to the audience as a whole, not to any of these guys specifically. Now and then you look in hindsight today, you say, yeah, I was able to handle that back then. We'll pick on my man Hillbilly. He's like, I was able to handle that. I didn't do anything. Okay. Well, that's 13 years ago. You're still working. You're 5 years out from retirement now. Then you're 18 years out from retirement and you're still plugging money in. You won't have to take money out. Now you look and say, I was able to handle that. And also now it's easier to say you were able to handle that simply because you saw what happened in the next 13 years from 2009 on. If it's 2022 into 23 into 24 and we're down that much, Any more ideas on preparing for a downturn? Keep your investments, but get 3. All right. So again, so to prepare for the downturn is just, in my opinion, it's just simple. If you're about ready to retire, within 2 to 3 years, or then you need to be prepared 100%. And you get 4 years cash, the rest in VTI. 4 years cash, the rest in Wellington. I mean, all that, it depends on your risk tolerance. So we just talked about the downside risk of the total stock index. Wellington fund, guys, this is Greg, was down 37% from top to bottom from October 2007 to March of 2009. Wellesley was down 22% from top to bottom. So none of these gave you a huge reprieve. So you just got to keep that in mind. And look, that 2007, 8, 9 was among, if not the worst time frame we've ever had, ever. That's not likely to happen again, but doesn't mean it won't. And maybe it doesn't happen as bad, but hell's bells, man. A 40% decline right when you're about ready to hang up the boots that's a tough road to hoe. So what I'm saying is keep enough on the side in a cash account at Ginnie Mae that if you stumble into retirement, you can leave the portfolio loan and tap into your cash resources. It's the barbell. 4 years cash, 4 years Ginnie Mae, the same thing. They're not the same, Josh. Well, if we're talking about, here they are. And the rest in stocks of some sort, VTI, total stock index. If you're less aggressive, Wellington. If you're less aggressive, then Wells. One of those three, I just don't think there's nothing else you can do. Let's put it that way. I mean, I don't know what else could you do? You could buy a fixed index annuity. Look, I don't have a qualm with fixed index annuities. I'm not buying one. I don't like tying my money up. I don't like it. I don't think tying my money up is something that it makes me feel good at night, because I'm saying at the end of the day, I have to go through somebody else to get access to my money, and I got to pay a penalty. I don't like that. So I'm not a fan of that for me, but I get fixed index annuities. Some people like them. I don't, in terms of for me, but I get it. CDs, no, nothing there. Single premium immediate annuities. We already talked about that tonight. Yeah, I got no qualm with that. It's just not going to make anything. You know what I'm saying? But I don't have a qualm. You're guaranteed never to run out of money. That's a fact. Yeah, we'll rent everything and be happy. Exactly. All right. Why does it take Canada truckers fight for freedom before people in this country start preparing for the same? Because it didn't happen all over this country, though, Bruce. I mean, that's the thing. I think mostly, like up there in New York, you guys want this crap. Not you specifically, but the bulk of people in these places want this. They do. And down here, they don't. And as such, we don't. What are we going to fight against? Freaking. I don't even know what we fight against, frankly, because I mean, I don't ever wear a mask. Not getting jabbed. My wife fought against the man when she quit her job because she's not taking the stupid jab. It's just that simple. And so, what are we gonna? I mean, that's all we can do. So, the fighting people, most often than not, are already gone from the Nazis, the tyrants. Now, I know you're one of them, but it's just not that many of you guys up there, because most people want this. That's what I've come to realize, that it used to be frustrating that the government's doing this. I realize it's not the government doing it. The government's just, they're throwing out feelers to see how far they can get before people start pushing back. And then when people push back, they step back a little bit. You know what I'm saying? But, the sad thing is the government's just reacting to what the people want. The politicians always follow the people. I mean, now you're starting to see some Conservative Party people up in Canada supporting the truckers. Yeah, the only reason they're doing that is because now it's obvious that the truckers have some pretty widespread support up there, especially on the right. If you're on the right, you don't support the truckers, you're never going to get your career's done. That's just a fact. But the same, like I was listening to my man Curtis Stone today, the urban farmer on YouTube. He's like, look, even the Conservative Party voted for Build Back Better. So there's no alternative. The PPC up there, that's fine, but it's kind of like the Libertarians here, and then the Libertarians here threw in for BLM, so they can kiss my butt. So there's no alternative, frankly, and as such, this is what happened in Canada, because the Conservative Party up there was run by a con named Aaron O'Toole, who was just a clown. It was Mittens, essentially. Mittens light was even worse than Mittens. And so when he was running against Trudeau, no one's going to. It's like voting for McCain. You're like, dude, I can't vote for that guy. The guy's such a schmuck. And as such, he just might as well keep it Trudeau. It's because Aaron O'Toole's not going to do anything different. He supported Build Back Better. He supported the mandates, and the guy's just a clown. So at the end of the day, you got there's no one here representing us. So we're going to go to Ottawa to say we will be heard. And slowly you're starting to see the Conservatives, the leadership say, hey, maybe there's something here. You think, freaking idiots. Down here, we had DeSantis. We had Brian Kemp. I know a lot of people are bashing Brian Kemp, but Brian Kemp stood up to Trump, man. I'm telling you right now, a lot of people don't look at this. They say, oh, Brian Kemp, yeah, the elections was a fraud, but he left that in the hands of the Secretary of State, freaking Snuffenberger. which is his job to manage the elections, go clearly. And that's not Brian Kemp's job. Ultimately, the buck stops with him, but he left it up to the guy who was Secretary of State in charge of the elections. That's what a governor is supposed to do, and good leadership, frankly. Puffenbarger is a fool, and he sold the soul for rock and roll. But they can't blame Brian Kemp for that. But Brian Kemp was against mandates. He was against freaking masks. He was against all the shutdowns, and Trump was even pissed at him. You know what I'm saying? So Trump can kiss my behind. Brian Kemp stood up to Trump. So DeSantis, Kemp, Abbott, he's a little bit wishy-washy on this. He's okay. Kristi Noem, she's better than not. She's okay. There's some things on there I don't like, but generally speaking, we had enough people on the right-wing Republican Party to stand against a tyrant. Said there's no reason for us to go to Washington D.C. and stand and do what they're doing in Canada. And secondly, we got elections coming up, and I think most people recognize the House will probably go to the Republicans. I'm not so sure about the Senate, but that'll give so the Canadians already had their election, but there was not an election. They couldn't choose between two competing ideologies. And this is what the Republicans are freaking idiotic doing too. I don't know if you read Kevin McCarthy's 4 promises if Republicans win. He's going to increase our independence on oil or increase our oil energy. I'm like, okay, energy independence. He's going to really stop sex trafficking. I mean, okay, no one likes sex trafficking, but it's not freaking high priority when I'm having a hard time feeding my kids and heat my house, you freaking fool. He's going to, what else is he going to do? I don't know, freaking, sneeze in a towel. I mean, just stupid stuff. He's our version of the Republican Party of Aaron O'Toole. And if he continues that path, the Republicans won't win because I'm not going to vote for him. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying, I don't want that guy representing me because he will be made the House Majority Leader like Pelosi is now. And if he's like, oh, we got to really go after sex trafficking. I mean, that's all you got. That's all you got, given what the hell's going on right now, you freaking idiot. So you're not giving us an alternative, just like they did in Canada. And so at that stage, you might see protests. Right now, though, probably not. There isn't plenty of the third world people anymore. That's the issue. Third world people, the nations aren't having big population growth either. It's definitely on the waning side of things. So just keep that in mind. All right. Nirev Kara says, huge retirement plan. No one talks about. Are you still in favor of annuitizing a IRA? All right. So I was never in favor of annuitizing entire IRA. I was in favor of that. That might be something you want to look at as we talk about single premium annuities. My man, Harry did that and he's happy as a clam. Are clams happy? I don't know. So Harry annuitized the entirety of his portfolio. He did miss out. I mean, he did it in 2020, right? And he missed out on 2 pretty stellar years. And, that was, you could say that was a big mistake. But he's got more money from his annuity coming in than he could ever spend. So, yeah. And then, like I said in that video, Nirav, is that you take the excess of your spending of your from the annuity that you're not spending and just reinvest that in the market. Pretty good strategy. Again, Harry timed it wrong relative to what the markets did, but he's like, I don't care. I get my money. I don't have to worry about it. All's good in Hollywood. We need more baby making mamas. 100%. Are Social Security calculators accurate? Are they missing COLA adjustments? It depends on what one you use, for sure. All right. Yeah, that's a good question, Brian. The facts are, as much I'm not on Facebook. I mean, I have a presence there just so no one can steal it, but I'm not on it. The facts are, Facebook advertising. I don't know what's like anymore. I haven't done it in 4 years, but Facebook ads are in the marketplace. I've never been on marketplace, but I hear enough people talk about it. Facebook ads are freaking superior to any other ad technology platform ever. And I ran Facebook ads, I ran Google ads, I ran newspaper ads. Nothing came close to Facebook. Nothing. It was superior by far. That alone is worth quite a bit of revenue. Now, the issue that Facebook has is if people start falling off, and I'm not on it, then you can advertise all you want, but no one's going to be there to pick up the ad. the thing that Facebook has going for it, though, is that if it has an older client base, that generally these people aren't, it's why they always say our target demographics are 25 to 54, because those are people you can be convinced to change. They're subject to propaganda. With Facebook, they're older people. They're not subject to propaganda in terms of jumping from Facebook to MeWe or something like that. They're just not gonna. They're comfortable with Facebook. They like it. They're not trying to change. And as such, they're probably long-term, regardless of the politics. They're probably long-term buyers or stayers in a Facebook. Now, whether or not they'll buy something on your ad, I don't know. But it's hard to see Facebook dropping off a cliff, that's for sure. And I think the PE ratio was still pretty good. I'm not buying Facebook stock, but yeah, a 17 PE. I mean, I don't know how that will change, with new earnings. I don't know, but 17 PE being down 25% in a day, that's not a bad buy. I mean, look at that. Even that is only back to where it was in 2020, man. I mean, right now it's at 237, and in June of 2020, it was at 227. So it's it's still well above where it's been. That's with a 25% decline. Look at that. So look, I'm not buying it. I've got no qualm with people buying that stock, none at all. Now, is Facebook doing? Just going back to what I said before. Are you buying a stock in an evil company? That's tough, man. Because people are using Facebook to trade, to meet people, to do all kinds of things. If it wasn't because of Facebook, I would never met my half sisters. You see what I'm saying? That was Ancestry.com, whatever the thing is called, Ancestry 23. So there are some bad things going on, but there's some good things going on too. Can you justify? I don't know. That's beyond my pay scale. But at the end of the day, people are selling goods, they're making money, people are buying goods, they're meeting friends. There's good stuff happening and there's bad stuff happening. So I'm not going to scream at people that buy Facebook stock, not at least. I went to Red Robin tonight. Half the restaurant's empty. Wow, that's crazy because in Georgia, we haven't been for a while, but it's freaking crazy busy. That's nuts. Where are we if we were the Roman Empire? Yeah, I think, look, we're on the decline. There's no way around it. I don't know when that was, 70 AD or whatever. But we're definitely on the decline. We're definitely on the decline. That doesn't mean it's going to happen tomorrow. It just means at the end of the day, the empire falls. Empires fall, man. It happens. All right, my friends, I'm getting tired. I'm going to get ready to get out of here. Yeah, I think, it's crazy. Hey, there's Harry. Right on, man. All right, my friends, I am getting tired. Probably needs to go potty. Whoa, jeez, Louise and blue cheese. Appreciate y'all being here. Thanks. I'm going to do a video tomorrow. Come on. We're going to go back into bonds. Stop being scared of bond funds. I'm just telling you to stop. And then I'm going to do a video tomorrow that you're not going to live until you're 90. You're just not. And I'll prove it. Now, some of you may, I grant you, this is clickbait in a way, but I'll prove that the vast majority of us are not going to live to 90. So if you're 60 years old and you're thinking, man, I got 30 years of retirement ahead of me, I got to keep working another 4 or 5 years because I don't want to run out of money. I'm going to show you that's wrong think. That's what they want. They want you to keep thinking that. So you keep plugging away as a cog in the machine that you are. And that way you'll die at 67. That's what they want. But you're not going to live to your 90, man. And as such, maybe you can start planning a little bit differently. Now, I can't do that for you because I still follow the fiduciary rules. You know what I'm saying? But with that said, it's like if I'm 60 and I'm freaking 1 foot out of the company anyway, and 1 foot in the grave, if I don't leave the company, I'm like, oh man, my planning for 30 years, it doesn't look good. Maybe change it to 20. I'll show you why in a video I do tomorrow. I can't wait. I've been waiting to do this video. It's been fun. Last couple of days, I've been doing longer videos. I didn't mean to, just kind of going off of tangents, but I do the research. It just is fun to do. And then, reading this guy's book, freaking, this guy drives me up the wall because every freaking page is something else I got research. I'm like, damn, man, like it's so many footnotes in here. And it's like, for instance, did you know there's an article I want to read? There's something in here on, for example, Johns Hopkins medicine puts normal adult respiration at 12 to 16 beats per minute. I can't remember what that was referring to, but I got it highlighted. Like it's something I want to read. There was another thing in here on the genesis of myocardial ischemia. That wasn't it though. Coronary insufficiency. Oh, that's what I wanted to read. There's something in here. He had a book. Oh yeah, right here. Hold on a second. Right there. The benefits of high cholesterol. He's just citing an article. Let's look at this real quick. I got to, before we leave, because I haven't looked at it, I haven't read it yet, but I said, that is interesting. The benefits of high cholesterol. Okay. We're going to see what we find. Anyway, so I'm reading this guy's book. I'm like, damn, dude, there's so much stuff I want to. He has these footnotes. I said, I got to read that. I got to read that. I got to read that. Next thing I know, it's like 8,000 years go by and I haven't finished the damn book. All right, the benefits of high cholesterol by this guy right here, Uffe Ravsnam. And I can't speak to the veracity of this. I don't know, but he says people with high cholesterol live the longest. The statement seems so incredible. The statement seems so incredible that it takes a long time to clear one's brainwashed mind to fully understand. Yet the fact that people with high cholesterol live the longest emerges clearly from the many scientific papers. Considering the findings of a guy from Yale who reported in 1994 that old people with low cholesterol died twice as often from a heart attack as did old people with high cholesterol. Supporters of the cholesterol campaign consistently ignore his observation and consider it a rare exception, produced by chance among a huge number of studies found the opposite. But it's not an exception. There are now a large number of findings that contradict the lipid hypothesis. To be more specific, most studies of old people have shown high cholesterol is not a risk for coronary heart disease. This was a result of my search in the Medline database for studies addressing that question. Now, this was written in 2004, so again, I don't know what the new data is, but I find it interesting. High cholesterol protects against infection. That's his whole basis here. Many studies have found that low cholesterol is in certain respects worse than high. For instance, in 19 large studies of 68,000 deaths reviewed by some guy at the University of Minnesota, low cholesterol predicted an increased risk of dying from gastrointestinal and respiratory diseases. Most gastrointestinal and respiratory diseases have an infectious origin. Therefore, a relevant question is whether it is the infection that lowers cholesterol or low cholesterol that predisposes to infection. To answer this question, a professor and his group, together with somebody else, followed more than 100,000 healthy individuals in the San Francisco area for 15 years. At the end of the study, those who had low cholesterol at the start of the study had more often been admitted to the hospital because of infectious disease. This finding cannot be explained away with the argument that the infection had caused cholesterol to go down, because how could low cholesterol recorded when these people were without any evidence of infection be caused by disease they had not yet encountered? Isn't it more likely that low cholesterol in some way made them more vulnerable to infection, or that high cholesterol protected them? That's interesting, huh? So I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. I find that interesting. Must be quack theories, though. There he is. There's the other guy. Hello. Oh, boy. All right, so this, look at that. Look at that, man. Look at that muscle. If any jumped up on one of my raised garden beds, it's 4 feet in the air. He just jumped on it. It jumped on it. I was like, how do you jump so high? Look at that muscle. And here's a little Pablo right here. Oh, yeah. Good boy. Give me some antibodies right here. Antibodies. Love those antibodies more. Thank you. More. I love the dogs. And Pablo's over here. Give me some loving too, Dad. Oh, more antibodies. I need them. Fauci's coming. All right, we're going to go here, guys. Appreciate y'all being here. All right, we'll see you guys. Thanks now. All right, well, there you go. Good boys. Let's go potty.